Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us. So this morning, we're going to keep it very informal so that you can take some time, capture whatever questions you have. And at the end of the session, you can go ahead and we'll take those questions. Just to give some background and some context, especially for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I'm pleased to see that there are some newcomers that have been responding to the mailers and the invitations. We moved over to a new partner platform a few months ago, just before Travel Week. So we are no longer using the deals dashboard that some of you are more familiar with. We need to just urge you to please make sure that if you haven't already created your profile on the new platform, to please do so. Especially once we've completed the session, you'll feel a little bit more comfortable, and then you can go on, register and create your profile. And as soon as you've done that, you can proceed to start adding your deals. So the purpose of the session is to actually give you that much more comfort, because we know some of our colleagues did have some challenges. Not everybody got into using the new platform as easily as others. So we just want to make that whole process of navigating the new platform a lot better for all of you. As I mentioned, it is new. It's a South African tourism partner platform. So it's not just a Sho't Left platform. It's actually being, developed with a phased approach. So there's new things happening every month. We're introducing new elements and new functionalities, and we will be keeping you informed of all of those. But for now, it is very ready for you to add your deals and to participate in our marketing campaigns. So we're currently live with our summer campaign. If you haven't added your deals, like I said, you need to do so that you don't miss out on the marketing that is actually now the current extensive benefit that you can enjoy. So I'm not going to waste any more time. The purpose of this morning is for the training. We have my colleague Dale, who is working very closely with the developers. She's going to take you through the process from the very beginning to where you actually submit your deals, okay? And then she'll just mention some of the functionalities along the way so that you know what you can access and what you can actually do while you are logged into your profile. Okay, so let's move on with Dale. And like I mentioned, please save all of your questions for later, and then we'll address as best as we can. If there's anything we have to get to later, we will do so as well. I just want to note, and I'll put it into the chat, the email address that you can communicate with us on is support@southafrica.net, but I will drop that into the chat as well. Thanks, Dale. Please proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dale. I work with the Digitech department at South African Tourism, and we have been pioneering and pushing forward to develop a partner platform. This partner platform is forming part of an ongoing roadmap that is going to drag us into the future. It's a multi-year roadmap that we're going to be following, where we're going to be introducing a lot of integration and a lot of improvements to your user experience, and hopefully making your overall experience of loading deals and your products. We've simplified a lot of things from the previous iterations of our deals dashboard, and part of this platform, part of the integrations, as we move forward, is going to assist us in terms of supporting the grading council, in terms of supporting just generally the trade at large, and eventually the expansion is going to include our regional offices and the international trade, as well as media and stakeholders. But for now, our main focus has been supporting our domestic team to ensure that we're able to pilot what we're doing, and make sure that the deals are available, and we've obviously prioritized our domestic trade. You guys, as we know how important and intrinsic you are to the trade landscape in South Africa. So what you're going to get to when you are ready to register on our partner platform is you're going to land up on this landing page. You'll see that there are options. Sorry, was I muted there? My apologies. So you're going to land up on this landing page, which gives you a little introduction as to what our new partner platform is aiming to achieve. When you have obviously loaded your profile initially, you are going to be able to then just go to the login, but I'm going to take you through this as a new member into it. So what we then do is we click on our register button. You'll see here that there is a pop-up that takes you into your terms and conditions, and those obviously you can read through, and you'll need to agree in order to continue. Your terms and conditions are over here if you'd like to review them. So the first step that you get to is to enter your email address. So I am going to do this for you here. So media@gmail.com. This will then ask you to send a verification code. That verification code will then go to your email. So you'll need to then obviously just check to make sure when that email comes through. It usually is quite quick, so I'm cautiously optimistic it'll be here in a moment. Let me just refresh my screen. Sorry, we may be having a little bit of slow gremlins this morning. Sorry, let me just do this. Send a new code, see if that pushes it through. Apologies, guys. When you try and test things like this, technology always seems to play not so much in your favor. So I'm just going to keep refreshing until we do this. But let's go through the rest of it. So once we receive the verification code, we'll input the verification code in here. We'll verify, and then we'll be able to create our password. What it will do once you have gone through this and you've clicked on create is it's going to take you back to that screen. Please don't be alarmed, but what that is so that we can ensure that you then log in and that your password is working, that the email is working. So don't get alarmed if you feel like you're going in a bit of a circle there. Oh, it's my fault. My apologies. I put in the wrong email address. I forgot the A at the end. So that's my fault. Apologies. Okay, it'll come through in a moment. So let me just check that I've got that absolutely 100% correct. gmail.com. Yes, that is correct. There we go. There's my email. So apologies. Sometimes the error is on my side, which is the case. So what you can do is you can copy this code and fill it in under the verification code field over here. Once you click verify code, it then saves your email address and requires you to then create a password. So I am going to type in a password over here and type it in a second time just to verify that it is correct, and click on create. Now, as I mentioned to you, what it's going to do is it's going to take you back into that login screen. So don't get alarmed. When you get to this point, just click on login, and the emails, the credentials that you've used will automatically log you in, and then you can start on your process. Now, one of the big differences that we have introduced in this partner platform is that we're allowing people to load one set of company details and then allow that company to load specific products. So this would be in the case of, a larger hotel chain, for example. You could have one person who has an overarching account that can then upload multiple hotels or multiple tourist experiences. So what we're going to do here is we're going to choose a company service type. There is a slight differentiator that you need to be aware of. At this point, most of the people who are registering are going to be tourism product owners. However, we have given the option for a tourism product sales channel. And that sales channel, just as a clarification, would be something like an online tour operator or a media partner who sells tourism products. So in the interests of this group and this training, what we're going to do is we're going to select the tourism product owner. Now, when you do that, it brings up a category for you to select a service type. So I'm going to choose, for example, attractions, experiences, and activities. Okay. You'll see then that there is a subcategory that comes up, and that is the same whether you choose accommodation, conferences, shopping, tour guides, transport. There will be subcategories for all of those things. Okay, so I'm going to choose our attractions, experiences, and activities. Then within that, you can see there's categories. So you can be arts and crafts, you can be culture, you can be entertainment, events, etc., etc., etc. So what I'm going to do is I am going to choose a let's call it responsible tourism for want of a better description. And then you may have a further subcategory which you need to select. Once you've selected all of these categories, and you'll note that there is a little red star next to each of these details. And those red stars, as with most systems, indicate that this is a required field. There are some fields that we do require, and going forward, you will see, that those are quite important. The reason that we ask for some of these required details is so that it helps us in terms of reporting back to you and also to the industry, so that we can then see, how many attraction experiences or activities there are. It gives us a good understanding. You'll see when we capture details in terms of where you're located, the provinces, so that we can get a better understanding of the tourism industry in South Africa as a whole. So I've selected my subcategories and I click on next. Now, what it then gives you is an option to fill in your company details. Now, your company details, as I mentioned earlier, your company is the overarching entity. So it would be, for example, the main business that your company operates on. Was there a question or something? No? Okay. So I'm going to, at this point, just create a fictitious company, but I'm going to call it SA Tourism Adventures. Okay. Make sure that I'm spelling things correctly. And my location, I'm going to enter as this address. You can then fill in your additional details. So your mobile number, your email address, company telephone number. At this point, we have only opened it to products that are in South Africa. Obviously, when we expand this into an international market, then people will be able to change that location. So again, that would fall under something like a tourism sales channel, which may be, for example, located in the UK or in Africa. You are then asked to please complete your company size. And again, this is just so that we can get a better understanding of the overarching tourism landscape. You'll see in here that there is a requirement to please, if you are BBBEE compliant, so please fill that in. However, you're not going to be penalized if there is non-compliance or you sit under a different type of BBBEE compliance. You can also, if you are if you have your SARS tax number, you can complete that. your CIPC number if you are registered, and your VAT number if there is a registration, a VAT registration number that you can complete. So I'm going to then save and submit that. Comes up with a nice little notification that my company is now registered. So I can then click on OK. What this does then is it takes you into your dashboard, and you'll see that on the left-hand side here, there's a number of quick links that you can click on, as well as some of the general elements on your dashboard. Now, at present, and as I said, this being a roadmap, you know, we are constantly listening to feedback and obviously trying to improve the overall experience. So there will be additions and slight changes to the system as we continue. I know that one of the additions that we're going to be making is we're going to be requesting for people's names and surnames, just so that we can obviously communicate with you better and personalize your experience within this platform. You'll see on your dashboard that, you know, if there are campaigns that are live and running and you want to be a part of that campaign, you'll have information here with access to any relevant collateral or toolkits or information. So, for example, once we complete this training session, we're also going to be adding a recording of the session onto this, so that you can, once you are logged in, you can then go back and reference and rewatch the video if you have any questions or any doubts. Within this, you'll obviously see your product performance. I'm going to just give you a note here that because this is a new company that we're loading and new products that we're loading, there's not going to be any results. But towards the end of the presentation, I'm going to show you the kind of results that we already have that are working in the system based on the deals that are live. And again, that product performance and the data that we, you know, we share with you and we give back to you will get more and more detailed and will help you in order to fine tune your offering, so that, you know, so that you are able to better understand your audience, better understand what they're looking for, and just to support you in terms of making more informed decisions about how you promote your product. You are then able to look at your product management, which is now the next step of your registration process. So if you click on your product management, and you'll see here, there is a notification to say that your product deals will be displayed on Sho't Left. So as soon as your deals are approved, they will then reflect on Sho't Left, obviously with all of their validity dates, the details that you've added, the price, the discount, any of the itineraries that may, you know, be relevant to your product. But we'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to add products here. So as I mentioned before, at the moment, you know, these deals and products are going to be reflected on Sho't Left. So we want to be very clear that the information that you place in here is how it's going to reflect on Sho't Left. So it will show your product name, your service type, all of that sort of thing. So here we're going to go, just to reiterate this, our attractions, and we've said responsible tourism, so that auto fills for you. And this gives you then a summary and a card of how your deal and product is going to reflect on Sho't Left. So I'm going to go straight into creating a deal relevant to the product that I want to load. So I'm going to create a deal of explore South Africa responsibly. I'm going to give you a little deal summary where I'm going to give a little blurb to explain, you know, what people can expect, so that they can kind of just get a flavor of what it is that you're going to be doing. So my deal summary, I think a trip around South Africa to experience responsible and responsible tourism activities. Okay, Then your deal description, you can then go into more detail. So within your deal description, what you want to be doing is you want to be adding as much information as possible, including anything that may be relevant to what your deal includes and excludes, for example. So, one of the things your deal may not include flights, and I'm sure that you would maybe want to mention that. However, if your deal does include a vehicle hire with a driver, you want to then again ensure that that detail is there. So my deal description is visiting a number of great African tourism experiences across the Northern Cape, Western Cape, Gauteng, and KZN. These activities and experiences will showcase.
Sorry, Dale, while you are populating the description, I just want to add a point. When you create your deal and you start with your deal title, if you have, for instance, a chalet, or there's some form of accommodation that the total price for 4 people, or it's a 10 sleep, or whatever the case is, it's quite a high price in comparison to your one-night stay. Because your price is displayed, you don't want to mislead the consumer. So it's important to actually indicate in your title, beachfront accommodation for 4, or for 4 nights, if it's not for 4 people, whatever the case is. It just helps when the user is actually searching the deals, because when they go through the deals on the website, they do see a price displayed, and that is your total price. So it does help if your deal is 15,000 Rand, but it's actually for 10 people, or, whatever the case is, it kind of, the maths make sense when somebody looks at that deal. So I just wanted to add that.
Please continue, Mel, if you need to.
Something else to add when you are completing your summary or your description, some of you are doing, you're obviously selling inbound tours, and you're not just selling to South Africans, but it's important when you do complete your Sho't Left packages that you don't, include the rest of the country, SADC, or whatever the case is that you are also targeting. We need to keep it very specific to South Africans, because all of our Sho't Left travel packages are targeting locals. So please keep that in mind. And then when you're completing your description, anything that is, an add-on like Wi-Fi or bottled water in the room, or, even snacks on the activity, put that in, because all it does is really show the value of what you are selling. So try and include as much as you possibly can.
Thanks, Mel. On the trip. All right, then you get to the section where you can load your images. It's a fairly simple process to do this. You can either drag and drop images. So I've prepared a few images over here. So I can either drag and drop them from the location in my computer, or I can select where they should be and open them and select the relevant images. So we want to do maybe some Pretoria, there's some Joburg, there's some KZN, some Eastern Cape. Oh, we haven't included Eastern Cape. I need to go and include that in my description. And then you'll see that your images will upload. Now, just a note with the images, if you have developed something like a promotional poster, or something that has an overview of the deal itself, by all means upload it, but please try and make sure that it is not the first image that you upload. The reason being that obviously when this deal then gets loaded onto Sho't Left, there is a specific format that that deal then falls into dependent on the device that you're using. So for example, it may show slightly differently on a mobile device versus on a desktop. So rather make sure that the first few images that you load are more generic images about the experience. And then, as I say, if you do have a a flyer or a poster, load that up last or second last, just so that when people are then scrolling through the deals, they don't see sort of a portion of an image because it's been cropped to try and fit into the pre-existing design on the website. So I've uploaded a group of images here. Obviously what it will say to you is if the images are too large, it will give you an error and say that it unfortunately only will accept images. I think it's less than a meg, but we can test that just now if you like. Then if you have a video, for example, that is showcasing the deal, maybe you want to, showcase an overview of your tour and you want someone to be able to get a quick snappy response, you can add that link in here. That deal would need to be uploaded to a YouTube or something like that. Then what it will do is that it'll import that and embed it into the design itself. Hi, Mel, are you putting your hand up?
Yeah, I just want to also add just on the images before you continue with the links.
Sure.
If a user has only uploaded a poster, we would prefer you do your images and then a poster. Don't only use a poster, because what happens then is that we have to send you a review to say, please add other images, and then it just delays the process of approving your deal. So from the get-go, if you want to use a poster, first do your images and your poster. When visitors get to your deal, they will still see all the images as well as the poster in your image carousel. So your deal has a dedicated page. They will still see whatever it is you've added. But don't only use a poster. You need to first do some other images and then your poster. Thank you.
One other thing, sorry, that that slipped my mind, is that we have a limit of 5 images at this point in terms of what you'll see. So you'll see there that I have uploaded a number of images, but I've gone over the number of images allowed. So if you hover over that, you can see that I can't load any more files. So I am then able to remove those files so that you can then just have your main images. Now, your validity dates. There's quite often questions here in terms of what the difference is between a validity date and a publish date. Your validity date is the time that deal is valid for. So, for example, if at the beginning of your, your fiscal year, you decide that you want to run one deal for the entire fiscal, you can say that deal is valid for 2023 from today until, let's have a look. Let's see, let's go to March and 2024, and we can just pop that in. So if you click on the little icons here, that'll bring up your automatic calendar so that you can search for those dates. The next section is your deal publication dates. So if you're participating in a campaign, what you want is your deal to only be visible for the period of that campaign. So for example, Travel Week was, and Mel will correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was from the 4th of September till the 10th of September. Yeah. So you can then specify that your deal will go live between that time period. Now, again, just to reiterate, the difference between it is your deal will then only show in that time period. However, the validity can extend past that so that people can then see the deal, they can approach you for the deal and say, you know what, I want to book in February next year. And that's great because that's when your deal is valid for. But the special offer that you're giving is only valid for Travel Week or for our summer campaign. So our summer campaign is live at the moment. And Mel, those deals go live?
Yeah, let me just add to that. So the Travel Week specific campaign is where we have those particular dates in September. That is the only time it gets published. For the rest of our campaigns throughout the year, and we have Travel Week, then we've got summer, then we have Easter. Before that, we've got Valentine's, but we only do a little bit of online, some digital marketing. The bigger campaigns are your Travel Week, your summer, and your Easter. So for all of those campaigns except Travel Week, you can put in whatever published dates or validity dates. Obviously for summer, we're trying to push the summer periods. For Easter, anything, you know, from Easter and forward. You can put in winter deals, you can put in your Valentine's deals, you can put in deals throughout the year. So the only time you have to be very specific and know when we are creating an influx of traffic to your deals only on those particular days is Travel Week. So the rest of the time, you can, you know, edit your deals, you can add things to them, change your images, you can do whatever you want with your existing deals, or you can add new ones. It's entirely up to you.
Thanks, Mel. So what I've done is I've said that my deal is valid from today and will run until the end of the year. So then the next section, as Melanie alluded to earlier, is that we want to define our rate type. So your rate type could be per person, it could be per night, it could be, you know, for the entire sort of itinerary that you've put together. And that obviously is a drop down. So I've sort of said per person because everything is included, including your accommodation, your transport between experiences, etc. Again, your currency at the moment is only Rand because this is specifically targeting our domestic market. Then what you want to do is you want to have your standard rates. And let's say that your standard rate for this deal is 6,000 Rand. Okay. You are then able to add a discount, and what this will do is it will then show on your deal that you have given a percentage discount or a Rand amount discount, and that obviously does also encourage people to investigate the deal a little bit more. So what I want to say is that my discounted rates, I want to sell this for 4,500 Rand per person. Okay. And if I've added that in, what it'll do is it'll say it's a 25% discount, which is especially for Sho't Left. And we can then sort of say to people, okay, what we want to do is you can either go to a booking URL on the website. And the one thing that we implore, please, don't put a generic link to the landing page of your website. We found that it does tend to frustrate your users a little bit. So ideally, what you want to do is on your website, if you're going to use this option of a booking URL, to go to a relevant page on your website that is specific to the deal that you're offering. You can then obviously on your website have more control over the information. You can give extra details, etc. Your other option then is to click on an email, and you can then specify an email. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same email address that you entered, you know, when you were filling in the company details. So I'm going to just create an additional email address here, and I'm going to use that one. Okay. And then the next question, and I just again want to clarify on this, is if the location of the company is different to the location of where the deal is, you need to just identify that. So for example, if your head office sits in Johannesburg, but your deal is something that runs in, you know, Cape Town and Johannesburg and Pretoria, you want to just make sure that people are aware of that. So input the deal location. If it is different to the company address, so that is different, I'm going to say yes. Then what you can do is you can type in the address of, for example, where the deal starts. So if you have an itinerary, for example, you can add in the start location. So I'm just going to say ORT International Airport. Don't try and override, because what it is doing is it's using a Google Maps search. And the reason that we use this specific API is because, again, it gives us more information as to where the deals are, where people are interested in, what they're looking at. It can also then give us the ability to give you feedback to say, you know, we see that there are not a lot of people who are doing deals in Kuruman, but you know, we see that maybe there are a lot of people who are searching for deals in Kuruman. So it then allows us to potentially, at a future stage, give you more detailed information like that. So I'm going to say the starting location of my deal is ORT, which is in Gauteng. Obviously, we've then got our city. So does Kempton Park count as a city on its own? I'm not sure. I think it does. So I'm sorry, scrolling, because there's lots of places in Gauteng, Kempton. There we go. Just there, Kempton Park. Okay, and then what we can do is we can add, so we've added that, it then shows that's the start place of our deal. Now, what we can do is, for example, we add a deal itinerary. So title, so we say day one, and the summary is Johannesburg inner city tour. And we can then select some additional images. So we want to say we want to go to Nelson Mandela Bridge, and maybe do a bit of Soweto with a cycle tour. So we've opened up some images. Okay. Then we can add additional. So day two, we then say we want to fly to the Northern Cape and have a look at some stargazing, for example. So again, select our images. I'm sure I've got some stargazing images. There we go. There is our Northern Cape. And we add those. Let's add a third day, day 3. Let's call it Kruger. So Kruger Park Adventure, and load up some images, which I'm sure are here somewhere. There we go. That's some Kruger. That's some Kruger. There we go. And you can continue as much as you want to. Okay. Then you can then select your activities. And what we've done here is the activities, we've tried to just give people an easier way to search. So when you click adventure, you know, one of the filters on Sho't Left will be that you can search for adventure activities. So this then feeds back into how that information is then fed back to your users. So I want to say it's adventure, bush retreats, and city breaks. Okay. And my type of stay, we're going to call it affordable, and we're going to save. Now, when you have saved this product and this deal, it then goes into, oh, sorry, it's remaining. So it just gives you an overview. I'm just not sure.
Hello.
I have my little, oh, there we go. So you've saved it. Now you can then submit it for approval. Okay. It then goes into our system, our back end, in our partner platform, where we will then go through and we'll make sure that everything sort of makes sense. We will review the deals. If we feel that there is something that potentially may assist you in terms of, you know, targeting your audience better or clarifying things on your deals, you can then do that. So I'm just going to pop into my partner platform over here and my admin portal. So there we go. So there is my deal. You'll see that it's over there. So I'm going to open it. I'm going to approve it. I hope that's okay, Mel. But you'll see if it doesn't get approved and there is a requirement for it to be reviewed, we will make comments and give you very detailed feedback as to, you know, if there are any issues, what we suggest you adjust. So I'm then going to approve it. Successful. And now that deal should be showing on the Sho't Left website. Then what we can do is we'll go back to our dashboard and you can then see your product management is over here. If you click on it, you can add your deals or you can then go in and view your products. Yeah, your company profile, if there's anything in there that you maybe need to edit. So your kind of navigation on the right-hand side is here. There will also be on your dashboard notifications. So we often send out messages, you know, announcing new features that have been launched. Or again, you know, if there is a deal that has to be reviewed, you'll get a notification of that to say, you know, you need to go back and maybe make some adjustments. But overall, this is the long and short of what your overarching new partner platform looks like at this point. And again, I'll just repeat that there are a number of things, you know, we're listening very, very carefully to the feedback that we're getting, you know, so please feel free to email us, you know, if you have any questions or queries, or, you know, if you're getting stuck anywhere along the way, or if you feel that there's anything that we can improve on, you know, please feel free to get hold of us and let us know, because, you know, we want to make this as seamless and as useful for you as we possibly can. Once your deal goes live, obviously I've said to you, because I don't have a live deal at the moment, this is just a little snapshot of what your dashboard will look like. So your product performance at the moment will show each of the deals or products that you have live, and will give you an understanding of how many times a book now has been clicked, how many times a deal has been viewed. And that's just the basic start of the data that we're going to be giving to you. That information obviously will, as we continue, get more and more detailed, and hopefully give you a more robust understanding of you know, of your products and how they're operating. Now, the last little bit over here, I was mentioning your notifications. You'll see on the top right-hand corner here, you've got a little bell. So if there are any notifications that come through, that is where they're going to be. And then this is your your profile sort of link. And here is where you can edit your profile, you can delete your profile, or you can log out. Mel, I think that pretty much covers it. Have there been any questions in the chat or anything that I can potentially answer?
Thanks, Dale. We've asked them to just hold for the end, so we should be getting questions through. What I just wanted to add is that with the latest update, we do require those of you that haven't included your name and surname, that you can do that, because initially it was just the company name. So if you can add that. Otherwise, we are ready to take any questions you might have.
Okay, so I've noted in the chat, there is a question of, can you do deals out of country through this app? I'm assuming, user, that your question is if you're operating in a country outside of South Africa, that you can add deals. At this point, we have focused predominantly on our domestic market. However, in the very, very short future, we will be opening this up to other markets. So please just keep checking back, and we'll obviously keep you informed as soon as that happens.
Just to add, Sho't Left is our local campaign. It's for South Africans by South Africans. So we aren't going to approve deals coming in from another country on the Sho't Left platform. So like Dale mentioned, there will be other access to platforms from our different markets, because everyone in all our markets currently still use the deals dashboard. We've just been the only one that has now since moved over to the new platform. So yeah, if that also helps. Hello?
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Fabulous.
I'm
So
just gonna-
Karabo, please just, I mean, sorry, user, just obviously please just hold tight with us. Hopefully we'll get that live in the very short near future. Sorry, I'm seeing another question in our chat box.
There's quite a
Karabo.
few. Yeah.
Sorry, Karabo, there's absolutely no fee at all. We've launched this partner platform and it is free to use. You know, we want to try and give as much exposure as we can on our channels to tourism products throughout South Africa. And we don't want there to be any kind of barrier to entry other than the fact that, you know, your company needs to be reliable and offer deals that, you know, you can fulfill. But there's absolutely no fee. So please don't worry about that.
And then just
Bulele.
in terms of that next one, Dale, I just want to note that it is recorded. We will load it onto the platform, but we are planning to do quarterly training sessions because of the fact that the platform is being developed as we move along, as we get feedback. There are other functionalities that are being added. So we will be doing additional training sessions as well.
Okay, Spilele, so yes, we will be loading a copy of this AV, a link to it into the dashboard on the partner platform. So once you've registered, you'll be able to access this and review it. And I think Mel also placed an email address for a support email. So if there's anything that you need to know or feel like you maybe have missed. TD Travels, the system doesn't automatically delete packages like the old platforms. I have to manually unpublish deals when they expire. Please assist. So TD, I think whilst it doesn't automatically delete the packages, what it does do is it removes their visibility off of Sho't Left. And that is based, as I mentioned earlier, on on the dates that you input into the back end when you are loading those products. So not necessarily the validity dates, but the deal platform dates. So it will only publish on the date that you have inputted, and then it will unpublish, so it won't be visible on the front end of Sho't Left. But what that means is you can then go back into existing products that you have already loaded, and you can adjust them, update them, and then resubmit them for approval. El Naidu, hi, if we're not getting any inquiries, what can we do to gain traction? Mel, I'm going to hand that question over to you.
Sure. I think just reach out to us. You can email us on that support email, or if you've been in contact with us, use whichever email address you have. And then we can just have a look at your deal, see what it might be about your description. It might be your images. We'll have to just review it and see how we can assist you, because there are some deals that, you know, we would have to review and see how we can improve them. So let's do that. If you can just drop us a mail, and then we can chat about it. If it's not an actual support, technical support, you can mail us at shotleft@southafrica.net, and then we can see how we can help you.
Great. Heidi, you are able to do deals with multiple stops. However, if you are requiring an addition, like if you're requiring payments per stop, I would highly recommend that you do individual deals for each of those stops. Alternatively, you can do a package that, as for your example, Jeffreys Bay and St. Francis. So my suggestion would be do a product deal for Jeffreys Bay, do a product deal for St. Francis, and then potentially look at doing a combined deal that covers both. You know, it's always good to be able to give you know, your potential travelers the biggest sort of choice available. So that would be my guidance. TD, hi again. When I add packages on the source block, it doesn't give me travel agents and I end up using accommodation. Okay, so TD, what that then means is that you should be using the instead of using a travel experience, you should be using the sales channel option, because that then gives you the option to select a travel agent or an OTA. So I hope that answers that question.
So that would be, I think it's Tisette, so I think that would mean you go back to your profile and edit your profile.
Yeah. If you have an existing one, just go back and select sales channel as opposed to tourism products. And that then should sort out your issue. It's a pleasure, Karabo. Small, can you share the link to the training? I'm struggling to follow the training due to load shedding. Oh, I'm so sorry, Small. Yes, as we mentioned earlier, the training will be uploaded into the partner platform. If you are battling though, again, just drop us an email on support and we can help you through that. Karabo, I don't think, and Mel will correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there is a limit as to how many deals you can load in any given time period.
No limit. You can add as many.
In fact, we love
as
deals
you
because it gives our potential travelers more options.
The more the better. We want
Exactly.
to share as many as we possibly can.
Okay, and Siki, you had an issue that the main company details came through on the deals, which were located in a different province. So when you are loading those products, you'll see that question that asks if the company is in the same location as the deal and in a different location from the deal. And if you click on that yes, it then gives you the option to input the deal location, so that deal then will not reflect your company details, but it will reflect the deal location details. Are you able to upload the website? Yes, you are able to include a URL to your website. I think that's what you're asking, user. So yes, you are able to add a link. You can obviously, sorry about that. You can obviously load a specific website for people to then directly, when they click on an inquiry, it will then take them through to your website. And as I requested earlier on in the training, I'm not sure if you were here, but earlier on in the training, that you do a specific page so that your user then goes from viewing the deal on Sho't Left to viewing the same information on your website, so that you're not requiring your user to go onto your homepage and then do a search for the deal that you've offered. Naidu, it is a pleasure. On validity, can we load deals that are available for 1 day or 1 weekend? We're an attraction. Yes, absolutely. So that would be part of your deal validity options. You know, so if you are, you know, if you're offering something that is, you know, a concert or something like that, then you can specify that that deal is only valid for that time period. Heidi, you're very welcome.
Sorry, Dale, just to add on that 1 day or weekend, please make sure you give us enough time so that it's not happening the next day. We need at least 72 hours to be able to approve, and in some cases we might need you to add or change something.
Yeah.
So maybe just give it a week or longer if you can, just so that you get it perfectly ready for when the special is on.
El Naidu, yes, you absolutely can post a Christmas lunch or a dinner special. Again, when you go into your options as your tourism products, I think restaurants, yes, restaurants is definitely an option there. So just make sure that your deal validity specifies that time period, and obviously when you're loading that deal or that product, just give us as much information, that it's 3-course and you can book for a table of 10 or whatever the case may be. But within your products, yes, restaurants and activities and experiences are all separate categories. User, thank you very much. Ben, hi. You have a little problem with pricing as the domestic and international tour structures differ. So I take it that I can place a deal with normal pricing and special package pricing. So yes, Ben, what happens with that is, obviously, again, just to reiterate, at the moment, this function only runs through to our Sho't Left website, which is obviously our domestic-focused travel platform. However, as we expand this and we open up to deals to our regional teams, you will then be able to target specific regions and give additional pricing options. On the product performance, the number of book now deal clicks doesn't match the number of emails I receive. TD, thank you for letting us know that. May I request that you drop us an email to our support so that we can investigate. Obviously, what we want to do then is have a look at the deal in question and just interrogate our analytics and make sure that we're giving you the most accurate information that we can. If there is a problem, we'll work through it with you and do everything that we can to rectify that.
I think, Tisetso, there's a possibility that they click the book now and then they don't complete the email, because we are capturing every click on the book now button. So it's very possible that they've clicked on email boxes open, but they haven't actually proceeded to complete an email. But they'll, like she said, she'll have a look and see if there is any issue.
Thank you, Tisetso. How many people per organization can have access to the platform? We have 11 sites. So Nsiki, in this case, what I would suggest you do is that the people that are required to have access to be able to load deals, etc., each create their own profile with their own work email address. So you can have a few people that, obviously work for the same company, but, may be in charge of different products. So just get each of them to register a profile and just ensure that they each use, their own work email addresses. As I mentioned earlier, the email address is for us to be able to communicate to you, to advise, if campaigns are coming up or if there are new features or anything like that. But when you're loading the product or the deal, you're able to then indicate a specific booking email address, for example, so that, so that you can separate those two. Okay. Right, Mel, I think that's all the questions that we had in the chat. Have you received any others?
No, I think we've covered everyone. I just want to also reiterate what Dale was saying earlier in terms of how we rely on you, our partners, to provide, the best possible deals and to ensure that all of your partnerships and whoever you are collaborating with is all in place. We've had some instances where establishment owners are being promoted without their permission. We've had discounts being offered without owners' permissions, and the problem is, how do you pass those on? We are very much at risk when it comes to providing an honest platform to the South African consumer. So we need to work together to ensure that everything we do, meets the expectation of our travelers. And in some instances, there might be just some errors that are, taking place, but we do get that feedback and we need to make sure that everyone is working with us to provide the best possible platform. So please take all of that into consideration. And, like we've said before, we encourage you to collaborate with each other. If you can see who's on the Sho't Left website, we're encouraging you to reach out. We want you to create exciting appealing travel packages. So, you know, there's no better way than to actually work with the people within your areas and across provincial borders as well. So I don't think there's much more to say, except thank you very, very much for taking the time out this morning. In case you miss emails, please make sure that you regularly log into your profile in case there are some notifications waiting for you. And yeah, just help us keep you up to date on what's going on. We did say we are constantly developing, so don't miss out on anything. You'll get my mailers as well. So I know some of you must be getting tired of those, but they'll keep coming. It's the only way to keep you informed of what's going on. But thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time, and share with those that you may know of who didn't make it this morning. Otherwise, it is available it will be available on the platform. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Heidi.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Heidi.